1 year ago today, I graduated from high school. Or 1 year ago, not necessarily today. I graduated from high school, and on one of my last days of school, I got back my final project for English, and I just wanted to go through and read it with you. First page has just senior memoir written and a rubric. And on this rubric, my teacher wrote, when you find the people that you see, that people who see you and don't put you on the sidelines, hang on to them. They are your people. So the first thing that is written in here that's not a table of contents is an introduction letter. I'm going to read it to you. Dear reader, these past years have been filled with many trials for me. I have made many friends and lost many. I have been dragged through many dramatic situations and supported people through them. When I entered high school, I barely had any friends and had a hard time in social settings. I didn't understand boundaries and let some people walk all over me. It was an interesting time in my life, and I was lost. And to be honest, I still am. Following year was also very strange, and the friend group grew. It grew last year too. But sophomore year was intense in drama. Honestly, I'm not sure. Honestly, I know I'm not the protagonist of this story. I'm a supporting character. Normally, I'm fine with this. But the other night, we had Star Awards. And when we finished, and everyone was laughing and talking, and I was standing on the side again, watching as they laughed and not being included. I'm okay not being the main character. I really am. But it hurts not being included sometimes. Anyway, this book is a compilation of my stories and things I find to be important. I hope that this comes off as interesting, or at least I can look back into this book and feel as though I've grown. Or maybe I can find some amusement in looking back in my past. Maybe I'll be able to take some strange lesson out of this. Perhaps I'll find none of those to be the case. Perhaps I'll be sad. Perhaps I'll be sad when I look back in this. But at least I'll have some of this written down somewhere. There might be a short story coming from some of the things written in this one. I'm from puffy soft pillows, from box brownies and generic sodas. I'm from busy rooms, paper-covered coffee tables, and messy and loved. It sounds like pool balls clashing. I'm from the half-started gardens, the big tree in the backyard. I'm from Friday nights with family friends and anger issues from my mom and Kyle. I'm from throwing things across the room and telling the pissy one to calm down. From you, don't you want to look like a model, and I love yous. I'm from no longer Christian and meeting Greek deities. I'm from Idaho, a made home, and my California family. The potatoes we love and the ribs my dad makes. From the ignorance of my brother simply grabbing a bandage for me when I stepped on a rusty nail, to the time I bit my other brother over a game. I am from my own beliefs and I have made up for myself. My discard for my familial beliefs to become my own person. Ooh, freshman memory. Okay, freshman year was a very dramatic year for me. I found my friend group, my current religion, and got into a whole lot of crazy situations. And of all the crazy adventures, I had one stand out as the most extra day ever. Let me set this up for you. It was towards the end of the school year, and it was me, a girl named R, a guy named T, and a guy named P. R and T were dating at the time, and P had fallen hard for R. It was after school. It was after school ended for the day, and it was pouring hard. R needed to talk to a teacher in the CTE building, so we started heading that way. P and I were behind the other two, speaking of his dilemma. He decided the best way to handle it was to cut R out of his life. I told him it wouldn't solve anything to just pretend she doesn't exist. He still wanted to, though. After R had failed to get an audience with the teacher, as he or she had already left, we headed back into the rain. T had his scooter with him, so he sped off ahead of us. I pull R forward to prepare her for a hard moment in her life. As we headed towards the large grass field, she silently chanted an anti-anxiety spell I handed her. At one point, we stopped to let P catch up. She didn't give him a chance to end the relationship. She said her goodbyes to him. He was shocked, and he dropped his binder, and we walked away. And as I continued to comfort her, we got a little more than halfway across the field before he ran up to her and said something to this effect. "You hurt me, and I stuck with you. I love you, and always will." I don't think that was his exact words, but it was pretty close. At that point, I handed R my umbrella and walked away. I reconvened with T, which I don't like now for reasons, who was happy about getting like $10 in his account from his dad. Then we look over at the dramatic rain scene, and they are in a deep embrace. Not kissing, but it was a very heartfelt hug. T, as the walking red flag he is / was, got all alpha male jealous and rode off. After those two were done hugging, R, ignoring the red flags, ran after T. I went to see what happened on Philip's side. According to him, she went for a kiss, and he pulled her into a hug instead. I don't doubt that is what happened. I ended up giving P a good smack for his terrible problem-solving skills. When we looked over at T and R, they were on the ground hugging. They eventually got up and came back over to us, and that's when her mom drove up and picked all of us up. I had her drop me off at the library because the tension in the car was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Surprisingly, I got there before my other friends that would also go there. Ooh, I am so sorry for my poor reading skills. I have not read in a hot minute because I can't focus. Pivotal moments. I've always had a harsh relationship with religion. I knew by the time freshman year came around that I was not Christian, nor did I think it was realistic to believe one guy / God could make everything and made no mistakes. I hated it. It was saying that we have no control over our lives, and if something went wrong, it was our fault, not his. I think there's so much wrong with that style of religion. I decided I was an atheist. And that's how it was until the fall of that year. I heard about this thing called Wicca before, but only started looking into it at that point. I had told my parents that I didn't believe in their God. My mom was insistent that I believe in something, anything. So I chose Wicca. I actually really liked the beliefs and beliefs that are valued. I actually really liked the beliefs that are valued and started practicing. It made me feel like I was in control and gave me something to do. I really loved it. I even showed it to R, same girl from the last story, and she loved it too. It was very nature-based and quite peaceful. If you don't like people, you can do it by yourself. Of course, covens are also great to go into. I've been exploring for a while and have chosen to explore general pagan things, and I still do the witchcraft aspect. My main thing is tarot, and which has actually sparked an interest in others in my practices. At one point last year, I was talking about a deck of cards to. Ugh. At one point last year, I was taking a deck of cards to school a lot. My friends were so interested in getting read by me. Eventually, one of them wanted to get her own decks of cards. I ended up taking her to one of my favorite stores, and she got a few decks of divination cards, which average around $35. And this year, another one of my friends decided she wanted to get into get into Wicca. She had a lot of issues with religion herself as well. She was Mormon, but knew she didn't want to stay one, and she has hated it for a while. So I gave her the materials she needed to get started. I know it. I know this wasn't just one moment, but a lot of small moments meant a lot when I compile them. I couldn't just include one and leave it at that because it's all about growth and constantly reflecting on how you do things in this religion. So I chose to include some of the most pivotal moments. The ones I have the clearest image of is introducing R to Wicca because she was the first one I shared this with. Every moment is special though. Fun fact, R is also the crazy nightmare downstairs girl that I still need to make a video about. This is a bucket list, so it should be fast. 1, open my own business. 2, travel through Europe, travel through Asia, go to Mexico, travel through South America, visit Canada, visit the Middle East, travel through Africa, go to Australia, experience as much of each country's cuisine as possible, get Jeff Bezos' level of, oh my goodness, I love this one, get Jeff Bezos' level of rich, then give it all away to those who need it, only keeping enough to live out of for the rest of my life. I feel like that's still an amazing goal. Have a good family, have 2 kids. I think that's all I could handle. I don't think I could handle more than that. Have a nice home. See, I went back up. Watch all the animes on my bucket list because I have a bucket list of animes. Travel through America, move to Europe, and go to a culinary school after high school. I'm actually not interested in going to culinary school anymore, so that's never going to happen for me. But I do hope the other things do happen, and I'm going to work towards them. Next are friendship mementos. It's got a lot of pictures of different things having to do with friendships. I'm not going to show you, but I don't say any of the names in here. But the first friend, we haven't talked in a little bit, but we do talk occasionally. But they used to be one of my absolute best friends. Our zodiac signs are Sagittarius and Capricorn, and the picture is of the symbols for our signs being like conjoined together. I'm Sagittarius, just so you know. We're both pretty spiritual. We both went through hard times together. There were things that happened. Let's just leave it at that. We used to ride our scooters together when we were younger. Known her since I was 5, so. This show, oh my goodness. So she absolutely loves SOA. It's the only anime she's ever actually enjoyed, but I'm not as big into it. I think it's cute. I think there are a lot of issues with it, as many people do. And let's see, for number 2, I got her into paganism. This is actually my girlfriend now. Yeah, we dated. We both love outdoors. We often send memes to each other. Even more true now. She helped me understand how to act in difficult situations. There's actually a little story about that I could tell you. Oh, this is a letter to my freshman self. Hey, freshman year, Kenzie. Before you start your first day of school, do me a favor. Breathe. I know you're shaking your head or rolling your eyes at that word, but it will help, I promise. You're about to have a terrible day. Not the worst day of your life, but it'll shake you up. The security system at the school is going to malfunction and it'll be chaos. You'll feel alone in this crowd of freshmen. Then after it's all over, you're going to make your first high school friend. She won't be around for long, but don't worry, you'll make a lot more friends. And they will help you through a lot of that year. It will be a hard year for it'll be hard for your second semester. I'm not going to tell you which teacher it is, but you'll have a terrible teacher. I think that you'll need to experience this to help you grow, but don't let him get to you. If you do, you'll need a lot of work. You'll need to do a lot of work to gain back your confidence. Another thing, consider where you want to be, who you want to spend your time with, why some people get under your skin so much, why you let them. Understand that there will be some crazy things that will happen to you. Don't take that lightly. I'm serious. Our friends are crazy, but you'll learn to love that about them. you'll have some insane stories to tell about them, and sometimes you'll be convinced that you're the supporting character in a book series. It is dramatic, but that's okay. You'll learn from every experience, and yes, you will be absolutely exhausted sometimes. And yes, every one of one's going to come to you with their problems. And yes, you will be an absolute nerd with some of your friends. But it'll be amazing. Just make sure you keep your boundaries clear and open to be seen by others. Have a crazy high school career, and don't be afraid to hurt and be vulnerable. I know it's hard, but it's worth it. I know you started hiding your feelings because you didn't think it was worth hurting those around you, but if you never show how you feel, then while always letting others trauma dump, always letting others trauma dump on you, it'll make your mental health worse. From you, from the future. That's cool, just a bunch of things that I like. Anime, spiritual stuff, piano, puzzles, labyrinth, nature, drama, the art form, not drama itself, games, spicy food, more TV shows, cats. Okay, I'm gonna skip this one because it's a letter for grandkids and I'm losing time here. Significant lyrics I'm also going to skip because I don't want to talk about this right now. Oh my goodness. Okay. Back in freshman year in math class, I met a girl named R. I no longer talk to her, but her presence is still prevalent in my life. Not only because not because I associate with her, but because my friends do. I have no issue with this either. In a way, Riley helped me find myself. In other ways, I lost all self of sense. When I met her, she was quite religious and or superstitious. I was an atheist. I know it sounds very different from how I am now. I believe I did a different memoir on this already, but this is how it started. I was curious about spiritual and religious topics, and then she loved and she loved to talk about her experience with it all. We had bonded over our love of anime, but that's not what kept our relationship going. We'd gotten close. I'd become a part of her friend group. I had a few parts of the group become a part of the group back then. Crap. Okay, I don't have time to read all of this. She had joined me on my journey. She had horrible taste in men, still does. T talks about T. I never liked him. In sophomore year, claimed he was dating. Oh my goodness, T claimed he was dating a girl that ended up I'm still friends with. And guess what? She told him she was very much not interested in him, and he kept insisting. Junior year, that girl, poor girl, had to go through so much shit because boys will not leave her alone. I didn't really talk to R that much. In junior year, I still kept in contact with her. I had pushed a lot of people away after my car accident. We'll get to that in a later video. We went to get ice cream and food. Oh, first date. We went out for a little bit. First date was crazy. We went to get ice cream. We got food, then ice cream. Then she decided she wanted to go to open houses. And the first open house we went to, the first words out of her mouth were, "We have 4 children." What the hell? I was caught off guard. I had no words. I kept my shock from showing in that moment and went along with it. And she told the realtors at all 5 houses that we visited the same thing. Then we went to So Delicious. I want to preface this next part by saying we were a couple for maybe a month. At this point, things weren't adding up. She was not telling me and other people the same thing, so I decided to cut her off. I performed a tie cutting spell. See, I believe relationships are built on trust, and in my eyes, she had broken that. And she did. My favorite divination words. You can read it all yourself. And I'm going to save my, we're going to skip that. I'm going to read you my 6-word memoir, and then I think I'm going to save the last story for another video. Don't look behind you. Look ahead.